Skyrim has been around for just under 10 years now, and we are still finding little secrets that the developers have hidden away in the smallest crevices of the world. Skyrim has little nods to other games in the Elder Scrolls series, movies, TV shows, real life, and other AAA games. There is so much content to be found in this game, even for a player with thousands of hours already invested. Not to mention the insane amounts of glitches and exploits we found over the last few months, which I will link in the description. It's worth mentioning that most of these are officially recognised as intentional Easter eggs, while a handful of them are speculation. Obviously, this is a bit different from the glitches and exploits I normally do for you guys, so please do go ahead and drop your opinions in the comment section, or even before you watch the rest of this video, comment the next game you'd like me to cover. So, with that being said, I'm Liam Bartlett, and this is all of the Easter eggs that you can find in Skyrim and where to find them. Oblivion Shadowmere. Shadowmere is a horse the player is given after finishing a certain quest in the Dark Brotherhood storyline, but what some players may not remember is Shadowmere was also given to the player in Oblivion by Lucian Lechance. In Skyrim, if the player has the spell Summon Spectral Assassin, they can actually summon Lucian Lechance himself. He'll spawn in, and once he sees Shadowmere, he'll walk over and greet his old friend. Reference to the movie 300. If you head north of the Lover Stone, halfway up the mountain, you'll eventually come across a skeleton. Right next to the skeleton, you'll see a saber cat stuck between two rocks with a glass sword sticking out of its mouth. This is obviously a nod to the scene in the movie 300 where Leonidas lures a wolf into a very narrow passage and jams a spear through its mouth. The hero of Kvatch gets murdered. Possibly the most controversial Easter egg in Skyrim. Some players argue that it isn't true, others swear that it is. When the player has to find Cicero in the Dark Brotherhood quest The Cure for Madness, they can find his diaries just laying around. In the first diary, there is a paragraph that says, 27th of Rain's Hand, 4E187, completed the arena contract. I ultimately decided to pose as a starstruck fan and immediately got into the Grand Champion's good graces. While escorting the arrogant fool through the Great Forest, I slashed his throat and left the corpse for the bears. It is speculated that it means Cicero went undercover as the adoring fan to kill your character in Oblivion, meaning this absolute clown murdered your beloved character. Some people dispute this as the timelines don't match up, but others believe that Cicero isn't even human, and most likely did kill the hero of Kvatch. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Real history reference number 1. When Mercer Frey is about to fight the player in the Blindsighted quest, he says, "The die is cast." This is a reference to Julius Caesar's quote when he crossed the Rubicon and started a civil war. Reference to Game of Thrones. When the player completes the quest No One Escapes, Sydenham Mine, the quest giver offers their family ring as a reward and adds that a Silverblood always pays their debts, which of course is a nod to the Lannisters in Game of Thrones, who also always pay their debts. If Bethesda is hoping to sneak a Game of Thrones reference in the next Elder Scrolls game, I'd suggest a nice Starbucks cup sitting on the table at an inn with its label facing out. Minecraft reference, but probably not. At the throat of the world where Parthenax sits, the player can find a notched pickaxe, as well as some ore in a chest. People have speculated that this is a nod to Minecraft. This is because Bethesda had previously clashed with Minecraft's creator, who is also known as Notch. This hasn't been confirmed and is kind of proven wrong by the fact that the notched pickaxe has been in previous Elder Scrolls games before Notch or Minecraft were even popular. Let me know your take on this in the comments. Reference to Rocky. When in a bar fight, the player can hear the drunks say, "Remember, hit the one in the middle," which is the advice given by Paulie in Rocky IV to help Rocky overcome double vision. Steven Seagal. Some people speculate that the Marked for Death Dragon Shout is a nod to Steven Seagal's movie with the exact same name, although this one hasn't been confirmed or even mentioned. Snow White. Probably one of the most obvious references is the Snow White reference. If the player heads into the war quarters located in Black Reach, they can find a room with 7 small beds circled around a lantern. Down the hallways opposite this room is another room with 1 bed. Presumably this is where Snow White sleeps. Sweet rolls. Sweet rolls are a long-running joke in the Elder Scrolls series that date as far back as Arena. They've even been mentioned in the Fallout series too. The player will be mocked by guards with "let me guess, someone stole your sweet roll." They can find NPCs talking about them and can even turn NPCs into sweet rolls using the Wabberjack. Pac-Man. If the player heads to Endon's house in Markarth, they can find a shelf in the back room. On this shelf is a row of garlic, some glow dust, and some sliced goat cheese, missing a wedge. All of this has been arranged to look like a scene from the Pac-Man game. William Tell. When the player enters the first hall of the Swindler's Den, they can find a practice dummy with a red apple sitting on its head. This is a reference to the Swiss story of William Tell, who had to shoot an apple off of his son's head. Oblivion's Grey Fox. If the player breaks into Mercer Frey's house, they can find a statue of the King of Thieves himself, the Grey Fox, who is from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Oblivion main quest reference. If you help Ralof escape Helgen, you can decide to head to Riverwood. If you talk with his sister, she will say, "Any friend of Ralof is a friend of mine." This is a reference to the piece of dialogue received when completing the main quest in Oblivion, which is, of course, "Any friend of Martin's is a friend of mine." Legend of Zelda. After being ambushed by the Silver Hand and seeing Farkas transform into a werewolf, the players can ask if all the companions are werewolves. To which he will reply, "Not everybody, just the members of the circle. It's a secret to everybody." This sentence is, of course, the famous line from the original Legend of Zelda. Alduin's Wall. Alduin's Wall shows off the chaotic events from the previous 4 games. You have the shattering of the Staff of Chaos from the Elder Scrolls Arena, the Numidium from the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, Red Mountain from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and an Oblivion Gate over the White Gold Tower from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Morrowind and Beowulf reference. During the quest The Cure for Madness, in the Ice Cave portion of the quest, you'll find a troll with this name. I'm showing it on screen as I know I will butcher it. This is a reference to the one with the same name from Blood Moon, who has a similar appearance and is also found in a similar location, although their names are spelled a little bit differently. This name is also a reference to Grendel, the monster in Beowulf. If anybody wants to make me look stupid and sound out exactly how to say this name in the comments, you are more than welcome. 2 William Shakespeare references. In a small alcove at the base of a cliff in the Reach, you can find 2 corpses with poisons and a dagger between them. This is obviously a reference to Romeo and Juliet. Then, the quest Ill Met by Moonlight is taken from the line, "Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania," which is spoken by the fairy king Oberon in Act 2 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. All 3 Star Wars references. The first one, inside of Frostfruit Inn, Eric can be heard talking to his father, with his father telling him, "All I ask is that you stay on for 1 more season." And that's just your mother's side in you. This is a reference to Uncle Owen's conversation with Luke Skywalker in Star Wars A New Hope. The second reference, if you travel with the ghost of Lucian LeChance, he will sometimes say, "I feel a disturbance in the void," which is, of course, very similar to the phrase, "I feel a great disturbance in the Force." Then finally, inside of Bleak Coast Cave, there is a skeleton hanging upside down from the ceiling. Below the skeleton is a glowing sword. This is a reference to The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke Skywalker was caught on Hoth and hung from the cavern ceiling. The glowing sword below represents his lightsaber. Star Trek reference. In the village of Iverstead, there is a woman named Temba Widearm. This is a reference to the Star Trek The Next Generation episode Darmok, where one of the often repeated phrases is "Temba his wide arms." Portal 2. In Skoldafen, one of the fireplaces contains a potato, a boiled cream treat, and 3 pieces of charcoal placed in an interesting way. The placed items represent Portal 2's antagonist GLaDOS in her potato battery form. If you're playing Skyrim on PC, you can use the command on screen now in the console to teleport straight to this location. The Pied Piper. In the quest Dampened Spirits, you'll be tasked with finding and killing rats for the meadery. Eventually, you'll come across Hamlin. His name as well as his journal both describe events similar to those in the Pied Piper story. Lord of the Rings reference. There are actually 6 Lord of the Rings references in Skyrim, but we'll just go for one of them, otherwise this video is going to be as long as the films. During A Night to Remember, one of your tasks is to obtain a wedding ring from a hagraven named Moira. Although Moira still gives me nightmares to this day, she does repeat an interesting line. She stumbles towards you spouting "my precious" over and over while you'll attempt to get the ring from her. For the two people that haven't seen Lord of the Rings, she's referencing Gollum. Ghostbusters 2. In the Soul Khan, the player will eventually come across a soul that says, "Death is but a door, time is but a window, I'll be back." These were the last words of the main antagonist in Ghostbusters 2, Galaxy Quest. When you first arrive at the Frozen Hearth, you'll be able to overhear a conversation between two people. They describe a major experiment as going horribly wrong and smelling like some horrible monster was turned inside out and then exploded. This is a reference to a scene from the movie Galaxy Quest where the protagonists use the untested digital conveyor on an alien which suffers the same fate. The Headless Horseman. At night along the roads, you have a chance of encountering a horseman without a head and wielding an axe. This is likely a reference to Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. You can follow the horseman, he'll eventually lead you to a bunch of enemies and a chest with a master lock. How to make friends and influence people. The side quest that requires you to help citizens to become a Thane is named Making Friends and Influencing People. This is a very on-the-nose reference to Dale Carnegie's self-help book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Hunt the Wumpus. Entering a cave with Belrend as a follower will trigger specific dialogue. He will say, "When I was a boy, my friend and I used to play Seek the Wumpus in caves much like this." This is a reference to the popular 1972 adventure game Hunt the Wumpus, although I doubt Belrend was playing video games when he was a boy. Real history reference 2. It's no secret that High Hrothgar is named after Hrothgar, the real-life king of Denmark who was also a character in Beowulf. The name High Hrothgar is most likely a combination of his own name and his mead hall, High Herat. Real history reference 3. The East Empire Company is a reference to the East India Company. Real history reference 4. Sovngarde and the Hall of Valor are obviously references to Asgard and Valhalla, both of which are from Norse religion. Real history reference 5. At first I thought this was a reference to Ice Age, but maybe that is because I'm an idiot. If you head east of Frostlow Lighthouse, you'll find a mammoth frozen into the side of a glacier. The mammoth has dwarven arrows and prehistoric spears sticking out of it. This isn't a reference to Manny, Diego and friends. This is actually a reference to the 1990s when a mammoth that was frozen in ice was recovered. 3 Billy Goats Gruff. We all know the story of the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. They go over a bridge one by one, tricking a troll that wants to eat them. Well, if you fancy getting in on the action, you can head south of Markarth near Pure Water Run. There is a stone bridge near a waterfall. If it is your first time there, you will see 3 goats. Then, if you check under the bridge, you'll see a dead troll. And that is all of the Easter eggs in Skyrim. Let me know what game you want to see me do next. The suggestion with the most likes will get pinned, and that's the game I'll do next. If you know of an Easter egg I missed, give me a shout. It's pretty likely that I did, as I'm only one man, and it's a well-known fact that Todd Howard has the brain of 4.5 people. So don't forget to check out our Skyrim glitches. The link to the playlist is in the description. If you like this video, please go ahead and do just that, and don't forget to subscribe as it helps out the channel massively and puts me one step closer to doing this full time. For more glitches and exploits on your favourite games, you can follow us on Twitter @GamingExploits, or you can visit our website at gamingexploits.com.